They can strip the title. They can take the followers. But they can never take the skill. Let me tell you something this world won't. Clout is fragile. Skill is forever. You think you're winning because you're trending? Think again. Status can be given. But skill must be earned. And what's earned through sweat and discipline can never be taken. Not by algorithms, not by recessions, not by critics. Build yourself into something so solid that if they take it all away, you can rebuild it twice as fast. In today's world, we're drowning in appearances. Everyone wants the title, the blue check mark, the verified ego. But here's the truth. Status impresses. Skill endures. You can buy likes. You can fake followers. You can rent cars and pose in front of borrowed success. But when the storm hits, and it will hit, only those with real skills survive. Because status without skill is a house built on sand. Dwayne Johnson wasn't always The Rock. Before the movies, before the fame, he was broke. $7 in his pocket. That's it. But what they couldn't see was what he'd been building. Work ethic, discipline, communication, resilience, charisma. Those weren't titles. Those were skills. And those skills, they followed him from the football field to the wrestling ring, to Hollywood. They stripped his status, but they couldn't strip his foundation. That's what made him unstoppable. Let's be brutally honest. If all you build is clout, then all it takes is one scandal, one market crash, one missed opportunity, and it's all gone. People forget fast, trends fade even faster. And if you haven't built something deeper, you'll be standing there with nothing but a nameplate and no legacy behind it. Don't just build what looks good, build what works when no one's watching. Because when the lights go off, only skill keeps you in the game. You see it everywhere. People chasing applause instead of impact. Chasing status instead of substance. They want the microphone, but they don't want the mastery. They want the platform, but not the practice. And the dangerous part, you start believing that the world owes you something for showing up. But the truth is, the world rewards what you bring to the table. Not your ambition, not your dreams. Your value lies in your ability, your grind, your craft. You become bulletproof. No job title, you're still valuable. No spotlight, you're still effective. No recognition, doesn't matter, your results speak louder than praise ever could. Build yourself so strong that opportunity has no choice but to find you. Skills make you self-made. Skills make you independent. Skills make you undeniable. The person with skill doesn't need to beg. They command respect. Because results don't lie. What should you be building? Here's the checklist. Communication. Can you lead, influence, and inspire? Execution. Can you get it done under pressure? Focus. Can you stay locked in while others are distracted? Emotional resilience. Can you rise when others fold? Others sell financial intelligence. Can you multiply what you earn? And in a world chasing filters and fame, skills are the ultimate flex. There's a difference between what you're known for and what you're remembered for. Labels come and go. They'll call you influencer today and irrelevant tomorrow. But if you build real skills, they'll call you something else. Leader, expert, giant, game changer. Build what matters and you'll outlast the noise. Your legacy isn't built in moments. It's built in the reps, the days, the habits no one ever sees. You don't rise by going viral. You rise by getting better. Every day you train your craft, you raise your value. Read more. Study harder. Practice longer. Outlearn everyone around you. Because when others are flexing their lifestyle, you're building one that can't be taken. Let them chase views. Let them buy validation. Let them pose with borrowed success. You build something real. You build skill. You build substance. You build the kind of character that creates success in any room, any industry, any storm. So here's the final question. If everything you have was stripped from you tomorrow, your job, your status, your following, what would be left? If the answer isn't my skill, then you've got work to do. Because real wealth isn't money, it's mastery. And in a world where everything can be taken, skill is your shield, your sword, your security. So don't just chase the crown. Become the craftsman. And remember, build what can't be taken and you'll become someone who can't be broken. Because if you've made it to this point in the speech, it means something in you is still burning, still hungry, still willing to do what most won't. And that hunger, that is your advantage. See, most people, they don't want transformation, they want comfort. They want change, as long as it doesn't cost them their convenience. They want greatness as long as they don't have to bleed for it. But you, if you want to be in the top 1%, you've got to understand this. You will never be normal again. You can't scroll your life away. You can't hide behind excuses. You can't keep waiting for the world to hand you your dream like it owes you something. Because it doesn't. And it never will. The world isn't against you. It's just indifferent to people who never decide to become undeniable. So decide. Right here, right now. Every morning, you wake up with two voices in your head. One says, stay safe. Sleep in. You've done enough. The other whispers, not yet. You've got more in you. Prove it today. And the one you feed becomes your future. Let me be clear. Your greatest war will never be against the world. It'll be against yourself. The distractions, the self-doubt, the need for approval, the addiction to comfort, the habits you've been dragging with you for years, calling them personality when really they're prison bars. But there comes a moment when you choose. You either let the noise define you, or you silence it and rise. Comfort is the real enemy. Most people won't tell you this. Success is violent. It tears you from your comfort. It forces you to choose between who you are and who you could become. You want to be top 1%? Then you better learn to say goodbye to the 99% behaviors that have kept you average. That means, because here's the truth. Comfort is not peace. It's a slow death in disguise. You weren't born to live soft. You were born to fight, to sharpen, to climb, to dominate. But domination isn't loud. It's quiet. It happens in early mornings and lonely nights. It happens in sacrifice, in obsession, in doing it when no one's watching. That's the work no one sees, but everyone respects. You want to know what separates the obsessed from the motivated? Motivated people show up when it's convenient. Obsessed people show up because there is no other option. The obsessed don't ask, what's the minimum I can do? They ask, how far can I go? They're the ones still in the gym when the lights shut off. Still reading when the party starts. Still building when the crowd leaves. Because while motivation wears off, obsession stays hungry. That's how the 1% move. That's why they win. They are possessed by the pursuit, and that's exactly why the world cannot ignore them. And when you're obsessed, you don't chase status. You build skill. Because titles fade, followers unfollow, markets crash. But skill, real, hard-earned, undeniable skill, that's your armor. They can lay you off. They can strip your platform. They can doubt your name. But if you've built something that lives inside you, no one can take that away. That's the new definition of wealth. Not what you own, but what you've become. You don't rise by chasing noise. You rise by crafting something the world cannot deny. The 1% don't wait. They become. So ask yourself, do you want the 1% or do you want to become the 1% version of yourself? Because here's what no one tells you. The top 1% isn't found. It's forged. In the silence. In the sacrifice. In the sleepless nights and early mornings. You get there by becoming something the old version of you couldn't even recognize. You'll lose people. You'll outgrow rooms. You'll miss events. But that's the price of elevation. Because when you finally become the person who earns it, the world will say you're lucky. But you'll know better. You'll know that it wasn't luck. It was sweat, silence, sacrifice, obsession, skill, and refusal to be ordinary. You don't need another video. You don't need another quote. What you need is a decision. Right here, right now. A line in the sand where you stop waiting and start becoming. Where you stop telling yourself the same tired story and start writing a new one, page by brutal page. Because if you're not building your future, you're rehearsing your excuses. Burn the excuses. Kill the noise. Sacrifice what's soft. Train like you're possessed. And build skills they'll never see coming. The final question. So here it is. The question that will decide everything. If they took it all from you tomorrow, would you still have what it takes to rebuild it? If not, build it now. Build the focus. Build the obsession. Build the damn skill. Because when you do, You won't just be in the top 1%. You'll be in a category of one. Unshakable, unbreakable, undeniable. Let them doubt you. Let them mock you. Let them sleep on you. You don't need their permission. You just need one thing: to believe that your future is worth the fight. And once you do, you'll stop trying to be seen and start becoming someone the world can't ignore. Now go. Silence the noise. Sacrifice what's soft. Obsess without mercy. And build what no one can take. Because this life, it doesn't give you what you deserve. It gives you what you're willing to become. Comfort is the cage. Sacrifice is the key. Let's get real. Everybody wants to be successful, but almost no one wants to suffer for it. Everybody wants the reward, but almost no one wants to trade. You say you want to be in the top 1%, then listen carefully. You do not get comfort and greatness in the same lifetime. One must be sacrificed for the other. We live in a culture that worships comfort, soft schedules, soft habits, soft minds. We chase convenience like it's currency. We want easy wins, quick dopamine, instant results. But you will never ever find greatness in what comes easy, because easy never built anything worth remembering. Sacrifice is pain with a purpose. Pain by itself, that's just suffering. But pain with intention, that's transformation. You can either suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And I promise you, regret hurts far more. It lingers longer. It scars deeper. In 10 years, you won't remember how tired you were, but you'll remember whether or not you showed up anyway. Let me show you what sacrifice really looks like. Michael Jordan wasn't just the best because of talent. He sacrificed more than anyone around him. While his teammates were out partying, he was perfecting footwork. While others were sleeping, he was sharpening his mentality. He didn't ask, "How much can I get away with?" He asked, "How far can I go?" He gave up comfort to become a legend. And you want to know what separates legends from spectators? It's the price they're willing to pay. What happens if you keep choosing comfort? You start settling, you start shrinking, you start accepting average as your destiny. You wake up one day and realize you've been alive for years, but you haven't really lived. You've been existing inside a bubble of comfort, safe, but empty. You didn't build the business, you didn't write the book, you didn't take the shot, because you were afraid to suffer for it. Let me say this as clear as I can. If you don't sacrifice for your dream becomes the sacrifice. What happens when you embrace the pain? You become unstoppable. Why? Because pain stops most people. Most people quit when it gets hard. They stop when it gets lonely. They tap out when the results are delayed. But you lean in. You stay hungry. You rise. Not because it's easy, but because you've learned that pain is just the proof that you're growing. The top 1% weren't built in comfort. They were built in chaos, refined in fire and sculpted in suffering. They weren't chasing comfort. They were chasing change. And change doesn't come without a cost. What comfort actually costs you? Comfort isn't just harmless. It's expensive. It costs you discipline. It costs you courage. It costs you momentum. You'll find yourself wasting hours, days, years in that space between who you are and who you could have been. And that space, that's where regret grows. You can't become unshakable if you never get shaken. You can't build armor if you never face battles. And you will never grow stronger by avoiding the weight. The pain you're avoiding is the pain that would have freed you. Let's stop pretending. That snooze button, it's costing you opportunity. That extra hour scrolling, it's costing you mastery. That second guessing, that procrastination, that playing small, it's costing you the life you say you want. You can either trade your comfort today for greatness tomorrow, or you can hold on to comfort now and pay for it with your potential later. The day everything changes is the day you realize comfort feels good now, but sacrifice feels better forever. Sacrifice rewires you. It sharpens your character. It builds self-respect. It earns you trust with yourself. Because every time you choose sacrifice, you are sending a message to your mind. We don't run from difficulty. We rise into it. Let them laugh. Let them doubt you. Let them mock the grind while they chase the easy road. You're out here building a fortress. Let them keep their comfort. You're building something permanent. Soft people don't survive storms. Sharp people do. And steel is forged in fire, not luxury. So here's the question. What are you willing to give up to rise up? Because the price of greatness is high, but the price of mediocrity, it's your soul. If you want to live like few can, you must sacrifice like few will. Choose the pain that moves you forward. Choose the struggle that strengthens you. Choose the sacrifice that shapes you. And in the end, you won't just survive. You'll dominate. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your habits. Let's cut through the noise. You don't need more motivation. You don't need another hype video. You don't need a quote of the day to trick your brain into chasing your dreams. What you need is obsession. Motivation is a mood. Obsession is a mindset. Because motivation fades, it disappears when the weather's bad, when you're tired, when life hits you in the mouth. But obsession wakes you up when your alarm doesn't. It trains when the body says no. It keeps showing up when motivation has packed its bags and walked away. Let's stop glamorizing intensity. It's not about going hard for 7 days. It's about showing up for 7 years. It's not the one big day that defines you. It's the million small ones. No one sees. Obsession means you're not in this for applause. You're in it for execution. You're in it for the reps. You show up over and over because you've made a decision that average isn't an option. When people ask Kobe Bryant why he trained at 4 a.m., he said, while they sleep, I'm working. While they eat, I'm working. Kobe didn't train for fun. He trained like his life depended on it. Because in his mind it did. He was obsessed with being great. He wasn't trying to be better than others. He was trying to be better than yesterday's version of himself. That's obsession. That's repetition. That's legacy. What happens when you depend on motivation? You only show up when you feel good. You quit the moment resistance shows up. You start projects and never finish them. You live in a loop. Starting, stopping until one day you stop dreaming altogether. You'll look back and realize it wasn't lack of talent that killed your future. It was lack of consistency. It was depending on hype instead of habits. Don't let your emotions write your schedule. Let your standards write your legacy. Reps are boring. Reps are repetitive. Reps are silent. Reps don't post well on Instagram. But reps build what hype never can. The body? Reps. The mind? The business? Reps. The brand? Reps. Everything you want lives on the other side of consistent repetition. Success isn't sexy. It's sweaty. It's disciplined. It's ruthless repetition. What happens when obsession becomes your fuel? You stop making excuses. You stop asking for motivation. You become dangerous. Not because you're louder, but because you're unshakably consistent. When you're obsessed, you're not swayed by moods. You don't care if it's Monday or Friday, rain or sunshine, criticism or applause. You show up, period. Because the mission outweighs the mood. Obsessed people don't need perfect conditions. They create them. People will tell you, don't be obsessed, it's unhealthy. But let me ask you, is it unhealthy to push for your potential? Is it unhealthy to be the hardest worker in the room? Is it unhealthy to stay focused when everyone else is distracted? You want balance? Take up yoga. You want greatness? Get obsessed. Balance is for people trying to manage average. Obsession is for people trying to break generational limits. You don't try to be excellent. You train for it. You train like it's your identity. You train like the future is counting on you. You train until the reps turn into results. And guess what? You won't always feel it. You won't always want it. But the days you show up despite that, those are the days champions are built. Stop looking for shortcuts. Stop trying to feel good before you act. Stop living on emotional fumes. You earn your momentum by moving through the mud. The grind doesn't respect your feelings. It only rewards your consistency. You want to be in the top 1%? Then show me the rep. Show me the mornings you didn't want to get up, but did. Show me the workouts you didn't want to finish, but crushed. Show me the videos you made, the scripts you wrote, the business you built, even when no one clapped, because that's what obsession does. It builds you silently and reveals you loudly. So here's the truth. You don't need another speech. You don't need a new quote. You don't need someone to light a fire under you. The fire is already there. It's been there. What you need now is to feed it, daily, relentlessly, quietly. The world will know your name, but only after the world knows your reps. Get obsessed, stay obsessed, and let every single rep become a brick in your empire. Because motivation is fleeting, but obsession makes you immortal. The loudest war you'll ever fight is the one inside your own mind. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat in silence? No phone, no scrolling, no opinions, no music, no distractions, just you and your thoughts. For most people, silence is terrifying, not because it's empty, but because in silence we finally hear the truth. The truth about who we are and who we're not. We live in a world addicted to noise. Every scroll is a scream. Every post, a performance. Every second, someone's telling you who to be, what to chase, how to live. And if you don't learn to silence that noise, you will spend your life trying to become someone you're not. Trying to win a game that was never meant for you. An overfed mind becomes a starved soul. You want to become the top 1%? Then the first step isn't grinding harder. It's not waking up at 4 a.m. or hustling until you collapse. It's learning how to be alone with yourself and win that war. Because the 1% don't just master skills, they master silence. They don't run from their inner voice, they confront it. They don't suppress fear, they face it. They don't avoid discomfort, they sit in it and grow from it. Your biggest enemy is not failure, it's distraction. See, failure has a finish line. It teaches, it refines. But distraction, it steals you slowly. Quietly. It numbs your hunger and makes you comfortable in chains. You keep chasing the next trend. You measure yourself by strangers. You wonder why you're tired, why you're anxious, why you're stuck. And it's because your mind is too loud to hear your purpose. Let me say this clearly. If you don't take control of your mind, someone else will. And if the enemy can't destroy you, he'll distract you. In the quiet, we remember who we are. The most dangerous thing in this life isn't failure. It's success without meaning. Noise will convince you that you need more validation, more applause, more approval. But silence reminds you. You already have what it takes. It strips away the filters, the lies, the fear. It brings you face to face with your real reflection. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not lost. You are just too distracted to remember your calling. So shut it all down. Wake up earlier. Go walk with no headphones. Spend time in solitude. Meditate. Pray. Write. Reflect. Because in the stillness, your greatness gets louder. What if the next 10 years of your life look exactly like the last? What if you never hear your true voice again? Because the world's voice was louder. What if your potential dies in you not because you weren't good enough, but because you never went quiet long enough to find out? There are people who will go to their grave never knowing what they were meant to do because they lived their entire lives listening to everyone but themselves. Don't let that be you. Don't let your life become an echo of someone else's expectation. When you silence the noise, you become dangerous. You stop reacting and start leading. You stop comparing and start creating. You stop doubting and start dominating. You stop being a consumer of opinions and become a creator of destiny. Success begins not with a decision to grind, but with a decision to listen. Because when the mind is quiet, clarity shouts. You want an example? Kobe Bryant wasn't just obsessed with basketball. He was obsessed with mastery. But more than that, he was obsessed with silence. Before games, he'd lock into his routine. No interviews, no distractions, just silence and execution. He once said, I don't want to hear the noise. I want to hear the rhythm of the work. That's the mindset of the one. Silence isn't weakness, it's where you train your weapon. The mind. You want to change your life? Start with 5 minutes. 5 minutes of no noise. No input. No scrolling. Just you and the uncomfortable truth. Because you can't lead a noisy world until you learn to lead a noisy mind. You can't step into greatness if you're still trapped in chaos. And you'll never make history if you can't even hear your own voice. Silence isn't the absence of noise. It's the presence of power. So go get quiet. And when you come back dangerous, focused, unshakable. Because the one who conquers their mind conquers everything.